Hi, welcome
Hi.
to Couple Therapy. I'm Kay,
I'm Tim.
and today let's talk about,
I don't know, what do you want to talk about?
one of the things you were talking about is you feel tired.
Yeah, I do feel tired.
Why?
There's probably a bunch of reasons, but one of them, I'm not as young as I used to be.
I bet you're not as old as I am.
I can never win that argument.
Well,
I gave up caffeinated beverages. I'm sorry, there's a dog licking my leg right now, and it just feels kind of weird.
it's not me.
Well, I said a dog. You're not a dog. Anyway, where was I? Putting in a lot of hours at work. Too many hours at work. Wow.
And is that a pandemic thing?
I think to some extent, will you stop it? I think to some extent the pandemic has something to do with it, but it's also the business.
The business, what do you mean?
The business has certain expectations out of the development team.
And is this typical expectations or have they gotten worse? And tell people what you do for a living.
Well, I manage a software development team.
He's an IT guy, which I love.
Software development. Yeah, it's IT.
Well, but I like telling people I'm married to an IT guy. I don't like telling people
but
I'm married
that's-
to a software development manager.
But just saying, oh yeah, he's an IT, that reminds me of one of my previous jobs where, yeah, I worked in IT, but that meant that I was responsible, I was in charge of the website and the servers and the network. So it was kind of a mix there. But since I was the IT guy, I was also responsible for printers and cell phones and
Well, because IT guys are brilliant and they can fix everything.
I had to teach our accountant how to use Excel.
There's YouTube videos on that.
I'm sorry, he was the accountant for the company, and he didn't know how to use Excel. Other than just, putting in numbers in the cell. He couldn't write a formula to save his life. He couldn't write a macro to save his life. Exactly.
Yeah, I get the sense he's a little frustrated here, but I guess one of the things that we could talk about when I talk about I love what Tim does. I guess when you're married to someone, you kind of got to love what they do because work is most of the majority of your waking hours, it seems, and especially nowadays. But when we met, and we'll tell the story another time of how we met, but it turned out we were both psychology majors working at semiconductor companies. He was working at an established one, and I was working at a fabless one, not fabulous, fabless semiconductor company. It was a startup, but yet we were both psych majors, so that just seemed like a great match, weird fact, perfect for each other.
Interesting dynamic.
Interesting dynamic, maybe. It was interesting, and I have to say that when I got my psych degree, I had fully planned to go on and get my PhD in psychology. Instead, I got married and had babies. But I went back to college, so I hope I finish my PhD. Please let me finish my PhD. So I just thought it was really interesting that we both did. Now, has your psychology degree benefited you at all at work? I always thought it was a benefit in being able to relate to people and understand dynamics.
Yeah, I think if anything, it's just dealing with interpersonal relationships and dealing with
Communication.
Well, communication, but also dealing with some of my own issues.
Yeah, that's why we're here. His issues.
Yeah, because I'm the only one with issues here.
Well, no, I've got an issue. Nearly perfect for each other.
Absolutely.
So has it
It
What are you doing at work to try to make things better? You manage a team of people. Are you worried about your team? Are you doing something to break the
Monotony.
yeah,
Well,
like
yeah.
starting a YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, that's really helpful for my team. It helps my sanity, but that's how exciting this show is. Right there. Yeah, well, Anyway, so yeah, I manage the.
Did I throw you off?
A little bit. I manage the development team, so I work in IT. But what I do is to help with break some of the monotony. Like, for example, a couple weeks ago, I challenged the entire IT department, not just my people, but the entire IT department, to go do something fun one weekend, take pictures, and then post it in Slack, and then we would vote, and then I would, out of my own pocket, give them, the top three, 100 for first place, the most votes, 50 for second place, and then 25 for third.
Out of your own pocket.
Out of my own pocket. Already said that. Thanks for listening.
Wow.
Yep. I'm getting the
That's
energy
why
now.
we're here.
So my CIO thought that was such a great idea. He
You do
loved
have great ideas.
I do. He loved it. He decided that the money should not come out of my pocket, but should come out of the IT budget. So yes, I didn't have to pay that.
And how'd that work?
Worked very well, especially for the people who won.
What was the activity of the person who won? And was it the pitcher that won, or was it the activity?
If I remember correctly, it was Amanda. You know Amanda.
Well, I was going to say you didn't have to give names.
And she went camping, I think it was up in the Grand Canyon with her family. It was somewhere up northern.
What did you do? What was your submission?
I think we stayed home and worked on the house.
We got a house we're prepping to sell, hopefully to go on the market in about 2 weeks.
Yep. Also created a way for people to anonymously give a shout out to a team member if someone's doing really well. They can leave their name or they don't have to. And then, they get some recognition that way. Yeah, it's that good, people. It is that good.
I'm going to make sure the next session to tell you why I'm yawning so bad.
Yes, 7 minutes and 45 seconds. Anyway, so yeah, and then we have
It's exhausting.
we have a virtual happy hour every other week. It's not really a happy hour because it's work sanctioned, so there's no drinking involved. But we play online games.
They do. They shut themselves away, and he shuts himself in the office for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6
that's
hours.
not the work sanction.
Does that come along with IT? Being in IT is that you have to be the whole gaming geek thing?
There are a lot of people on the team who game.
I'm not a gamer. Actually, on a podcast that I co-host, and it's a work podcast, one of the things we talked about was gaming. And apparently the few things I do is still considered gaming.
You don't say.
Like balls and bricks and
Solitaire.
solitaire and word garden and things like that. They're games and they're online, but I don't consider that gaming. I went to my first Comic-Con years ago. You and I went together. I think it was your first too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I didn't recognize 75% of the characters because they were gaming characters.
Either gaming or
anime, which I don't recognize.
Yeah.
But anyway, so those are really cool. Have they helped? Have you done anything lately to try to?
Really, the only thing that's been going on is the work sanctioned virtual happy hours, where it's just an hour of game time.
Do something to break the monotony.
Yeah.
I mean, my boss took the week off because she hasn't really taken a vacation since she's worked at the company. We're talking years. And so she took this week off and she tried to be completely disconnected. And I'm hoping it was marvelous and glorious for her. I, however, about 2 weeks ago took the week off because I was sick. It was not COVID, but I was sick. Well, I guess it may have been. I didn't go get tested, but the thought process being I didn't have any symptoms that required treatment or being hospitalized, so it didn't really matter. The doctor was going to treat me the same anyway. So, but anyway, it didn't seem like it. I didn't have the typical symptoms, but it took me down for a week, maybe because of my autoimmune.
Yeah, the challenge that we have, though, is that we have the business requirements and a particular deadline that we have to meet. And the deadline, of course, was not something that we provided. It was something that was picked from up high and directed to us. So we had to put in a lot of hours, long days, working weekends, and it's
exhausting.
It is exhausting. It's not right.
You got to do something to break the monotony.
Yeah.
Come up with something. I have faith in you. Or viewers, give us your ideas. What are some things to break the monotony for teams at work, especially if you're in an IT team, a web development team, or a software development team?
Otherwise known as, he's an IT guy.
And they're brilliant and can do everything. If you're an IT girl, I don't care. But give us some ideas of some things that maybe, I'm sure you're facing similar requirements and deadlines. So feel free to give us your ideas, what you're doing. We'd love to hear it. Maybe you can actually help with one of our couples therapy sessions. Is that good?
Yes.